Hello, and welcome to my channel. This is Elise of Plan with Elise, and Happy New Year. I was going to say depending on when you're watching this, but you could watch it a month from now, and I'd still probably say Happy New Year. Okay, so today's video, we are talking about goals. Now, I want to do a little bit of an explanation of something. So I had all intentions on this video being my 2025 goals video. However, December is really busy for everyone. December is a pretty busy month. And today is December 13th. And I have set a goal that by December 19th, I will have all of my content and videos filmed for the end of the month, but also the first few days leading into January. I'm going away from December 26th through 31st, and I wanted to be able to get home and unpack and reset and not have to worry about jumping back into videos. So my original plan was that this video was going to be sharing my 2025 goals. But as I've been so crazed in, I would even say November and December, I had plans every single weekend in November. I had my book launch. December has been busy already. I don't feel ready to thoughtfully and intentionally set my 2025 goals. I have been working through my Makselife annual goals toolkit and my 2024 reflections notebook. So I have a bit of an idea of what I want next year to look like. And I probably could sit down and film a video talking about the goals, but I really want to give my head some space to reflect and reset because my stress levels and my level of busyness right now is so different as compared to other parts of the year. So I'm hopeful that going on vacation will really just give me time to kind of, okay, now let's start thinking about the year. But so I'm not ready to set my 2025 goals. That said, I do want to come home from vacation and have a plan. And I talked through it in Club Moxie a little bit, which is the Makselife goal setting subscription program course. And ultimately, I felt like setting my January goals before going away was really going to be the best way for me to come home with a plan of action, but not feel rushed for my annual goal setting. So that's what we're going to do here is we're going to set some of my January goals. So I have my Makselife. This is my Makselife vertical planner that I'm using in 2025. And I'm going to go into a couple of different categories. Now, what I have to remember is that this is just for January. And while I want to kick off the year strong, I also want to be mindful about what I'm doing and use my word of the year for 2025, which is pursuit and the focus on going forward for the year. So I'm going to take a breath because I feel like I'm and I'm going to do this side of the page just because it's easier. I can't pull the sheets off. So we're going to do this side and then we'll flip over and the other side. So health and wellness. Get on track with my need to be healthier. To be transparent, this year I have gone up 2 clothing sizes. And I know a lot of it is the new relationship weight gain. I know a lot of it is not making the best choices when I go out to dinner or I stress eat. I don't stress eat in a way that I eat outside of meals when I'm stressed. I stress eat in a way that when I'm stressed, all I want for my meals is sandwiches and pasta, sometimes pizza. And so I also haven't been consistent for more than a month in a row with exercise. And so as a result, I have put on a lot more weight than I want to, and I really want to focus in 2025 on getting that down. So we have a couple of actionable goals for January. One of them is going to be exercise 3 times per week. No excuses. The next up is going to be meal plan every week, which I did set up another planner for meal planning. If you missed my catch-all setup video, definitely check that out. It's like a catch-all notebook setup video. One of the things I should have put this at the first is weigh myself. Write down my why. So I was journaling yesterday, and part of what came up in my journal was the fact that I had to buy some new clothes for this vacation because I don't fit in my summer clothes anymore. And it's not even entirely about being a bigger size, but it's about the fact that I had to spend money. I'm trying really hard to save money, but I had to spend money. I also had to fill my home with more things. When I started budgeting, I really also tried to reduce the amount of things that I keep in my home, and like my drawers were getting full and all of that kind of stuff. So now like I have to find places for 3 different clothing sizes. I'm not getting rid of these smaller sizes that don't fit because I'm hopeful that I can get back there. But I'm annoyed at myself because I'm now, again, my why is like, I don't want to be spending money. That should be going towards other goals. I don't want to be filling my home with things. And I want to feel better about the way that I look. So I want to write down my why. And then we're going to write besides the winter trip, practice healthy choices when out. I have a winter trip at the end of the month with James's friends. So aside from that, besides, I'm giving myself that as a little bit of leeway, but I really want to start practicing healthy choices when I'm out. Spiritual and personal growth. This is usually where I talk about reading and journaling. I haven't really set a reading goal for the year. I'd like to read 1 book per week, which would mean 4 books for the month. The focus when I think about the pursuit of spiritual and personal growth is I don't really know what the focus is. I don't oh excuse me, I don't always fill in the focus. Let's write down some goals and then maybe the focus will come to me. So, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to read 4 books, and then I'll write them down. And then for my journaling, I plan on using a journal next year. So I think that I want to write down more thoughtful and intentional journaling. Sometimes I find that my journal is just a list of what I did in the day, and that's okay. There's definitely going to be days when that happens, but I also want to make sure that I'm utilizing my journal as a space for me to grow and reflect. And I really had that light bulb moment the other day when I was journaling about having to buy new clothes for my trip. And so that may mean looking for journaling prompts. If you were watching my videos in 2020, I did a lot of journaling prompts, and I may bring those back and just give myself a little bit more guidance in journaling. And even without a whole bunch of different prompts, sometimes that can just be like, what was today's highlight? What was today's low? Something like that. The focus is really just going to be, I was going to write personal growth. Like, no, I can't do that. Pursuit of a better relationship with myself. I like that. Financial focus is going to be, I don't know the focus yet. Sometimes you need the focus afterwards. So my financial goals for the year. I have some really large savings goals in 2025, and one of the ways that I'm going to help myself get there is set a smaller budget. Live on less. I currently am working, my finances are the source of multiple incomes. I have my full-time job and I have the income from Plan with Elise. I don't pay myself everything that I earn from Plan with Elise. I have to pay quarterly taxes and there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But I want to try living on a smaller income so that the remaining can go more heavily towards savings to work towards my savings goals. Then we're going to do a Roth IRA contribution, which is my retirement. Put 1,000 in savings. And then this isn't as much a goal as it is a must do, but paying quarterly taxes. It's a really big number. And so if I put it in here and I achieve it, it's something that I feel like I can check off and it makes me proud. So don't let anyone tell you that you can't put to-dos in your goals list. I think that when I look here, the focus for the month financially is just going to be like start the year strong. Live on less. All right, physical environment. So each year, my full-time job shuts down between Christmas and New Year's. And each year, I do a full-blown office clean out and reset in December when that closes. This time, I'll be on a beach. So we are shifting that to January. We're going to put down a couple of things here. So one is going to be inventory with James. And when I say inventory with James, he is moving into my house in March. And one of the things that we talked about that we want to do is we talked about wanting to talk about what each of us have. So, if you open a kitchen drawer, like, do we want my plates or his? Do we need both? Do I have room to store both? Just kind of talking about some of those items so that as we get to February, March, there's a better game plan leading into them. So that's number one. We're going to write full office clean out. I'm going to really try to block off an entire weekend for this. It's not always that easy, but I'm going to try because that's the best way for me to do it is just to go nonstop. And then we're going to write full den closet clean out. On another floor of my house, I have my den, which has a massive walk-in closet, and it is really entirely used for planner stuff. And it's time to clean it out. And then the next thing is we are going to do a Patreon destash. One of the perks of a certain level in my Patreon is that when I do clean out my office and my den closet, and I put together like flat rate mailers of planner stuff, I can get them out. I think over the summer in September, I got rid of like 25 medium or large boxes of stuff, and it's time to do it again. So those are some of my goals for that side. I feel like I really need to do this. We're going to be in sort of a learning curve all year when it comes to me using a non-disc bound planner. Okay. Personal focus is going to be pursuit of a wonderful year. And my main personal goals are going to be set 2025 goals. Again, we're going a little backwards here. Then set Q1 goals. And this is probably more health and wellness, but I'm putting it in personal because that's where it's popping into my head. Make doctor appointments. I just want to, now that I'm going to the eye doctor and I have a neurologist appointment in January, I think it's a good idea to just get all my appointments out of the way. I think it's been a bit since I've had like an annual, so we're going to get some of those out of the way during the month. Fun and recreation. I don't really have a focus for fun and recreation. So there's a couple of things planned in the month. I mean, it's hard with fun and recreation because there was a time in my life that I felt like I had to set goals to make sure that I was including fun in my life. This year, a lot of what I've been doing is listing out the plans that I have because I already, like, when I think of January, there's a long weekend trip. I have brunch with friends. James and I are going to a comedy show. Like, that's already 3 weekends where there's fun stuff planned. And so I'm not really sure what I want to do about this space. I have an idea. Research this category as it pertains to goal setting. And figure out what I want fun goals to look like, or whether that's a category that I can table for now. Work and learning. My focus is pursuit of a successful year. And work and learning is always planned with Elise. I don't put goals for my full-time job in here. So we're going to list some things out. One is going to be set 2025 business goals, because my business goals are different from my personal goals. Revamp my media kit. A media kit is if a brand reaches out to me to work together and it's a brand I haven't worked with, I share a media kit with them that gives a little bit of information of who I am, who my audience is, the types of things that I share, the brands that I work with, and then my rates. Not every video I do is a paid sponsorship, but as a business owner, I do need those paid sponsorships. And so we're going to up my rates a little bit because as my audience is growing, as my experience is, as I have more experience, and as it's a new year, I think that it's time to up my rates because I haven't upped them in a few years. So we're going to revamp my media kit. I want to do a little bit of reorganization of Patreon. If you are a current Patreon member, do not worry. I don't think that anything is going to change. When I say reorganize Patreon, a lot of that for me is the back end stuff, the platform, the way that I do things, the amount that I share, stuff like that. Your benefits will not change unless I reach out and tell you that your benefits are changing. So this is just I'm going to write admin level for myself here. Okay. I would like to finish my custom spreads for the month by mid-month. And I would like to I'm going to write 2 unique videos. Because I have so much that I share here on YouTube, whether it's my weekly spreads or new products that are coming out from brands or my custom spreads, I don't often have any blank days where I can do something different, like let's do a vlog, or let's do an office tour, or here are 10 fun ways to use a currently page. Like things like that that are just different from what I do every single week is something that I'd like to incorporate more into my channel next year. All right, family and relationships. So I think that I need to like split this sometimes between family and friendships and my relationship. Like this doesn't really have a way to separate that. Maybe I could put more of my relationship in personal, but I already talked about that James and I are going to talk about like moving in together and what that all looks like. One of the challenges, I hate to say the word challenge, but I'm going to use it. One of the challenges I think that I've had in the last few months is that, and I have to like to give a disclaimer that I know how lucky I am to have an amazing family and amazing friends and be with someone who also is very close to his family and has wonderful friends. But sometimes I feel like we have too many plans. And maybe that just means that like I don't always have to go to every plan if I don't personally have the capacity for it. But I feel like I've been living my life this year on a do this, then go here and drive here and see what time I need to leave because how long is it going to take? And I just want to like slow down a little bit. So focus is going to be slow down. And I hate to say that because at the end of the day, life is about, like for me, is about the people that we're spending time with. And it's really, really important. But I also know that one of the things I need most personally is a little bit more downtime. So I'm just gonna not really have anything actionable here, but I'm gonna sort of give myself like an intention. So make plans to spend time with loved ones, but also make time to rest. Maybe not the best goal for this category, but I think that it works for me for right now. One other thing that I just remembered that I wanted to add to physical environment, and this may not happen in January, it may happen in February, and that's fine. But I'm gonna write picture frame wall. I have a wall leading like on a staircase that has a ton of photos that I printed out and framed last year. And James and I want to spend like a snowy day choosing new photos that include his life, my life, our lives together, what that looks like, because it's really important that once he moves in, it's, you know, our home and it's something that we're sharing together. And so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm going to put that there. If it doesn't happen in January, it's fine. My pictures are still up there. So we will see. Okay. I think that we're in good shape. I think that having this set up lets me come home from vacation and know where I want January to be. At some point, I will be setting my 2025 goals and I will share those with you. I do think it's possible that I'm going to really shift my goals from like January through March, which I mean, it's the first quarter anyway. And then after that, because I feel like I'm thinking of 2025 as before James moves in and after James moves in. But if you are stressing about annual goals, do yourself a favor and just set up January. If you want to set up the quarter, you can do that too. I would normally recommend setting up a quarter before setting up a month, but I'm just not there yet. And the priority for me is getting my January mapped out. So I hope that you found this video somewhat helpful. I'll have a link to this planner and these markers. You can use code Plan with Elise at Makselife if you don't want to use a whole planner. I've loved the companion notebooks that I've been using this year. It's just goals, no plans. So if you already have a planner, but you want somewhere to put your goals that looks similar to this, I'll have that linked in the description too. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and for your support. Happy, healthy new year, and I'll see you next time.